ASMR with Cora. Sorry, I thought I heard something. This is ASMR with Cora. I haven't been on here in a while. I apologize for that. I'll be back. Hopefully, somewhat consistently. Today I'll be reading a small section of the Vampire Diaries, Stefan's Diaries. This is not the books from before the show, or like the books that the show are based on. This is not those. This is technically based on the show. The scenes that happen in this, some of the scenes you see in the show, and they're like pretty accurate to the way that you see them in the show. It's actually very interesting because it gets you. You'll see like the things that Stefan was thinking in the moments that we see that are the flashbacks in the show. So this is Stefan's Diaries, Volume 1, Origins, and I got all of the books to my knowledge. I think there were 6. I got all of these off of Vinted, which Vinted fell off recently, but I really love the sound of books, the smell of books. I love everything about books. One of the aspects of reading them that I enjoy the most is like the ASMR that I get from it while reading. So like, I love tapping on books while reading them. I also love scratching the pages, which is something I've been doing since I was a very young kid. I remember doing it in 3rd grade. Whenever the teacher would hand out like paper, I would just scratch the paper. I don't really know why. This book has a particular feeling on the paper for me. It just feels so good when I scratch it. But yeah, so I'm gonna read a small section of chapter 15 because I don't want, copyright, Okay, so let's start. If you haven't seen the show or you're currently watching it, kind of maybe spoilers about how certain things went down in the past before they became vampires. And this is written from the perspective of Stefan. In the show, he has his literal diaries, right? And we learn about some of the stuff that happens. We learn about some of the vampire stuff, some of the people from the past through his diaries. And that's basically what this is. It's like literally, if you were to take the diaries from the show and read them yourself, it's kind of cool. So, chapter 15. As soon as twilight fell, I sneaked down the stairs, opened the back door, and tiptoed out onto the grass. I struggle to do ASMR in this environment because I have a dog and he's fucking loud. I don't even know if you can hear him like licking himself right now. He's right behind my computer. And then like people always going down the street with loud ass music. This is part of why I struggle to do ASMR, because even when I'm trying to be consistent, I cannot find the right time to do this shit. If I do it at night, people may blast the music at night too. Like, anyway. But the carriage house was only a stone's throw from the house itself, about 20 paces from the porch. I stole across the yard, staying in the shadows, feeling my heart pound against my ribcage. I wasn't concerned about animal attacks or creatures of the night. I was more concerned that I would be found by Alfred, or worse, father. But the notion of not being able to see Catherine that night made me feel hysterical. Once again, a heavy fog blanketed the ground and rose to the sky, an odd reversal of nature that most likely was due to the changing of the seasons. I shivered and made sure to look away from the willow tree as I ran to the bridle path and up the porch steps of the carriage house. I paused at the whitewashed door. The curtains on the window panes were pulled shut and I couldn't see any candlelight seeping under the windows. I wonder if I should do like, repeating words, because I do love hearing people repeat words. Like, if I said curtains, 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 curtains. For a second, I feared that I had come too late. What if Catherine and Emily had retired to bed? Still, I rapped my knuckle. I've never seen this word before. It's Rapped. My instinct is actually to say raped, but I rapped my knuckles sharply. Yeah, people are always blasting loud music. I don't even know if you heard that. Still, I rapped my knuckles sharply against the wooden door frame. The door creaked open and a hand grabbed my wrist. Come in, I heard a rough whisper as I was swept into the house. Behind me, I heard the click of the lock and realized I was standing face to face with Emily. Sir, she said, smiling as she curtsied. She was dressed in a simple navy gown, and her hair fell in dark waves around her shoulders. Good evening, I said, bowing gently. I glanced around the little house, allowing my eyes to adjust to the dim light. A red lantern glowed on the what in the hell? Sorry. They're using words that people would have used a long time ago. So I'm like, what the fuck is this word? Rough hewn table in the living room, casting shadows against the wooden beams of the ceiling. The carriage house had been in a state of despair for years, ever since Mother had died and her relatives had stopped visiting. So again, if you haven't seen the show, you might be getting spoilers. Because I don't even remember when they first bring up their mother dying. I feel like it's like season 6, but it actually might be before that. But now that it was inhabited, there was a warmth to the rooms that was absent in the main house. What can I do for you, sir? Emily asked, her dark eyes unblinking. I'm here to see Catherine, I stammered, suddenly embarrassed. What would Emily think of her mistress? Of course, maids, and by maids he means a slave, by the way. Of course, maids are meant to be discreet, but I knew how servants talked, and I certainly didn't want Catherine's virtue to be compromised if Emily was the type to engage in idle servant gossip. Catherine has been expecting you, Emily said, a glint of mischief in her dark eyes. She took the lantern from the table and led me up to the wooden stairs, stopping at the white door at the end of the hallway. I squinted. When Damon and I were little, we'd always been vaguely afraid of the upstairs of the carriage house. Maybe it was because the servants had said it was haunted. Maybe it was because every floorboard had creaked. But something about that space had stopped us from staying very long. Now that Catherine was here, though, there was nowhere else I'd rather be. That reminds me of how I always felt about my house. I always felt like my house was creepy. Emily turned towards me, her knuckles on the door. She rapped 3 times, and she swung the door open. I walked cautiously into the room, the floorboards creaking as Emily disappeared down the hallway. The room itself was furnished simply, a cast iron bed covered by a simple green quilt. And, how do you say this? Armor. Girl, this word is too French for me. In one corner, a wash basin in another, and a gilt-plated freestanding mirror in a third corner. Catherine sat on her bed, facing the window, her back to me. Her legs were tucked under her short white nightgown, and her long curls were loose over her shoulders. I stood there watching her, and then finally coughed. She turned around, an expression of amusement in her dark cat-like eyes. I'm here, I said, shifting from one booted foot to the other. So I see, she grinned. I watched you walk here. Were you frightened to be out after dark? No, I said defensively, embarrassed she'd see me dart from tree to tree like an overcautious squirrel. Catherine arched a dark eyebrow and held her arms out to me. You need to stop worrying. Come here, I'll help take your mind off of things, she said. I walked over to her as if in a dream, knelt on the bed and hugged her tightly. As soon as I felt her body in my hands, I relaxed. Just feeling her was a reminder that she was real, that tonight was real, that nothing else mattered, not Father, not Rosalind, not the spirits the town people were convinced roamed outside in the dark. All that mattered was that my arms were around my love. Mind you, they haven't known each other for that long. I think the last chapter I read, she said, I've been here for a little over 2 weeks. My love. Her hand worked its way down my shoulders, and I imagined us walking into the Founder's Ball together. As her hand stopped at my shoulder blade, and I felt her fingernails dig through the thin cotton on my shirt. I had a split-second image of us 10 years from now, with plenty of children. It's, you know what, it's giving Marinette Dupenching. I'm sorry. Plenty of children who fill the estate with sounds of laughter. I wanted this life to be mine now and forever. Always and forever. I moaned with desire and leaned in, allowing my lips to brush hers, first slowly as we do in front of everyone when we announced our love at our wedding. And then harder and more urgently, allowing my lips to travel from her mouth to her neck, inching toward her snow white bosom. Snow White. Sorry. You know what? I be laughing while I'm reading this book all the time. I'm not gonna lie. She grabbed my chin and pulled my face to hers and kissed me hard. I reciprocated. It was as if I were a starving man who finally found sustenance in her mouth. Sorry. I'm arrow ace. I actually hate reading stuff like that. We kissed and I closed my eyes and forgot about the future. All of a sudden, I felt a sharp pain on my neck, as if I were being stabbed. I called out, but Catherine was still kissing me. But no, not kissing, biting, sucking the blood from beneath my skin. This is the first time I'm seeing him be bit, so I'm like, the fact that I got this on camera is crazy. My eyes flew open, and I saw her eyes, wild and bloodshot, her face ghostly white in the moonlight. I wrenched my head back. But the pain was unrelenting, and I couldn't scream, couldn't fight, could only see the full moon out of the window, and could only feel the blood leave my body, and desire and hate and anger and terror all welling up inside me. If this was what death felt like, then I wanted it. Of course, Stefan would. I wanted it, and that was when I flung my arms around Catherine, giving myself to her. Then everything faded to black. That's all of chapter 15. I actually didn't think I would read it all on here, but wow. So we got to see the very first time. I can't remember if we saw the very first time that she fed on Stefan in the show. I do remember there being, the first time that we saw it, but I don't know if that was literally the first time. I would have to rewatch. But it's one of my favorite sounds. I love very thick books. This isn't even that thick, but like, I don't know if you guys know the book. It depends on if you're like in the spiritual tarot community or not, but I have Holistic Tarot by Benabel Wen. And that book is so thick, like thick. And it, bro, when I tell you it makes the best sounds, I wonder if I should get that book out one day and tap on it and stuff, because first of all, I love that book. It's an amazing book that teaches you so much about tarot, talks a little bit about the history, it tells you, even like the index or glossary is big, like, yeah, but it gives you a lot of different types of spreads and stuff. But yeah, I would love to make more videos reading books or tapping on books, making book sounds, page sounds, because one of my favorite things in ASMR. Also, I really want to wear nails for videos, like longer nails, but I notice how damaged my nails get when I wear, whether it's like press on or acrylic or gluing them on, like they damage my nails real bad. So I want to get those nail rings. I don't know if you guys know the business I'm talking about. And I've seen there's actually rip-offs online, which whatever. But I would love to buy the nail rings from the Muslim-owned brand that's like specifically meant for Muslim women, so that they can take their nails off, take their nail rings off for prayers and stuff like that. But those nails are like those nail rings, they're like literally rings that you put on, right? So they'll be like here, and then they have like a little thing so you can stick the nails on, and they're so pretty too, like visually they're so pretty. So I really would love to get those, because those would be helpful for videos like that. Yeah. So let me know. I don't know if I should do like a no talking video is, if I do no talking, I promise you the video will be short because I get bored like that. Like, so, but yeah, I would love to do, I wonder if I should film another video after this. I would love to do more book-related videos. What a fire chapter. That might be my favorite chapter. That might be my favorite chapter. The first couple chapters, like, were amazing to me. They, like, really convinced me that I chose right to buy this book instead of the original books, because the original Vampire Diaries books, I've heard a lot of bad things about. I want to get them, but I've heard a lot of bad things about them. And also, I don't know if I want to deal with more annoying characters. Because apparently Elena is mad annoying in the books. I actually really love Elena in the show, which is somewhat of an unpopular opinion, somewhat, because there are a lot of Elena lovers, but also there's a crazy amount of Elena haters. I actually really love Elena, but in the books, she's apparently not likable at all. So I don't like having unlikable main characters. I hate it. So yeah, I would love to make a video about Miraculous Ladybug. I don't even know what I was talking about. I recently watched season 6 after taking like a few breaks from the show. I mean, I'm sorry, a few years break from the show. The last time I saw the show before recently was somewhere in season 5. I didn't finish season 5. I finally finished it recently. I rewatched seasons 4 and 5 recently, and I finally got to season 6. And season 6 is actually kind of good, but I do have some issues with it, but it's kind of good. So I would love to make a video about Miraculous Ladybug, maybe about little things I wish they did in the show, things I like and dislike. Yeah, Stefan, with how obsessed he is with Catherine immediately, really gives Marinette vibes. I'm so sorry, like, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Anyway, let me know if I should do this again. If I should talk less, talk more, anything. Talk less, smile more. It's a Hamilton reference, but yeah. What if I